Hello everyone, I'm talking about Thanksgiving. I'm gonna go through a great timeline to make sure your Thanksgiving goes off without a hitch, you have hot food, and you're not stressed throughout the whole day. So the first item we wanna talk about is really to kind of keep organized, keep your list, get your papers, get it all ready so you know exactly what you're gonna do in your game plan. So today I'm gonna run through a whole timeline of exactly what you need to make it a breeze. First and foremost, we have the menu here. We talked about it, but we want to get a nice grocery list, detailed list of kind of everything you need. And if you always have that, relative that wants to say, hey, I'll help, you don't want to go to the store, just give them the list. They'll be really happy to do this. But, make the list really nice and then etch out a great timeline of things that you can do ahead of time. You don't want to be making all of this the same day. I always talk about casseroles and sides to individuals and customers, and I say, here's the deal. You can get away with about 2 days. Even a scalloped potato, a sweet potato, things like that can be made and be ready to roll in a nice casserole, refrigerated, wrapped tight in your refrigerator, can sit for up to 2 days. So write that one down. It's really gonna help you out. Same thing with gravies and sauces. Things like this, like cranberry sauce and gravies, can be made ahead of time. We can actually have that wrapped up as well. And then once our Thanksgiving turkey comes out and we want to use some of that fresh juice and broth, we can add that in to fortify the sauce right before we heat it and go. Things like that save, so much time, so much effort. We also talk about cold items. So you think about, oh, it's just a salad, things like that, or oh, I'm just doing a cold broccoli salad, or asparagus or Brussels sprouts, things like that. Anything that can be washed, chopped, and prepped ahead of time, do it now. I'm Italian, I do a big meat and cheese board every year. I know it's not really Thanksgiving, but I do it. So I cut the cheese up, I wrap it, keep it individually, so that can just be placed and ready to go. That saves you a ton of time during, Thanksgiving Day. You don't have to bring out a cutting board. We don't have to rinse romaine lettuce, things like that. It's chopped, it's ready to go. The components are there. Make your salad dressings ahead of time. Balsamic vinaigrette, ranch dressing, whatever you're making, make sure you prep that ahead of time. Keep that in the refrigerator. That'll last 4 days. So you could be 4 days out, 5 days out on a fresh dressing or fresh lettuce. So think about that one as well. So we covered, all that, the sides, the casseroles, things like that. Desserts are another one. So if we're making a cake or these pumpkin pies or your apple pie, that can be baked off 2 days ahead of time. That can sit in your refrigerator and you can warm that in your oven or warming drawer before service. So think about that too. You don't have to bake a pie fresh the same day. Truthfully, in my opinion, 2 days later, that pie tastes even better. So think about those along those lines to cover dessert and things like that. But the main star of the show, and that people always really sometimes have a hurdle getting over, is the turkey, which should be the easiest thing, okay? So, like I said, 5 to 6 days out at least for this turkey to make sure it comes to fully temperature, and it's not thawed. So when it's thawed, you want to make sure that we pat it dry. You're going to see all these steps, but we want to remove the giblets and things like that too. These steps are crucial, and it has to happen for it to be a great turkey. Okay, one last thing for everyone. I'm gonna run through my Game Time Thanksgiving timeline. So for all intents and purposes, I'm serving at 4. So what I would do is 8 a.m., I'm gonna get up, have a strong coffee, get going. I'm gonna take my turkey out of the refrigerator, let it sit on the countertop in a container right for about an hour, just to come to room temperature. We want to raise it up. It'll really aid in the cooking process. So when it sits on the counter, kind of gets that chill from the refrigerator off it and gives us a truer temperature, especially when we're going to go to our roast probe and we're going to use, all of our cooking apparatus. So let that sit for an hour. So let's say 8 to 9 o'clock, 8 to 8:45. Whatever you want to do. 9 o'clock, you want to start preheating your oven. So we're either going to put it on convection roast or roast, depending on what you have in your oven, what you're using. I would use convection roast because it's really going to use all 3 heat sources. We're going to go with 350 on that one, okay? So 350 degrees. And it's usually around 12 minutes per pound, okay? So, you guys can get out the calculator and do the math on it, whatever weight your bird is. So think about 12 minutes per pound on the cooking time, right? If we're not using convection, we're just gonna use regular bake or regular roast, we can get away with 25 degrees more. You can get around 375 degrees in my personal opinion, okay, which counts. All right, so next we're gonna talk about the organizing our sauces and sides. While this oven's preheating, you know, maybe 9 o'clock, 9:15, you know, get this turkey dressed, get it in your pot, in your vessel, make sure it fits, make sure there's enough room, okay? Maybe put a little liquid at the bottom there too, because, you know, you can add more gravy, things like that. You really don't need stock. There's gonna be a ton of flavor from that turkey. So once it goes in around 9:15, whenever that oven's preheated, next we have plenty of time. Let's start organizing our sauces and sides. Everything we talked about we made pre-made, we're gonna take out. Make sure it's good, make sure it needs seasoned, check consistency if something tightened up, whether it be a scalloped potato or something like that. Add a little liquid to it. Don't be afraid to get in there and make sure everything looks perfect, okay? Those we're gonna go in. If you have room in your oven, they're probably gonna go in around the, you know, 11 o'clock, 11:15 mark. But think about this, I'm doing a 20-pound turkey today. So, you know, it's probably gonna take me 4 hours to kind of get that done. So, you know, when you do the math on it, probably 4 hours and 15 minutes, depending on the time. So the first couple hours, I mean, I'm not even paying attention to it. I'm really gonna work backwards to forwards with my meal. That's really where that grocery list and all of your, you know, your menu planning really comes into play. Stay organized. So 9:15, 9:30, I'm gonna start looking at organize my sauces and my appetizers and really look at my desserts. Yes, I said it, look at my desserts. Around 9:45, I'm gonna say, hey, do I have cookies that need trayed up? Do I have, you know, a cake that needs iced? Does my pie need to be whipped creamed and in the fridge? That can all be done so you're not thinking about it, and it's just, you know, I hate to say, by the end of dessert, we're always really tired anyway, and you don't wanna be making chocolate sauce or anything al minute. Put your dessert away, put it away, and make sure it's good. By 11 o'clock, I wanna look for all my casseroles and sides. I wanna take them out because, you know, think about it. I'm almost 11:30, 12 o'clock in that range. I wanna take those out, unwrap them, get them to room temperature too, just like the turkey. We wanna get that chill off of it, okay? Around 12:30 to 1, I'm really gonna check this turkey to see my progress, all right? From 9 to, you know, 11:45, 2.5, 3 hours, I haven't checked it. We don't want to open that oven door. I'm a big proprietor. I preach on it a lot. Every time we open that oven door, we're losing 175, 200 degrees. So the oven has to go to preheat. That just makes everything cook a lot longer, okay? So around the 12 o'clock, 12:30 mark, we're gonna look at it, check for browning, check for consistency. We know it's not gonna be done in the center. You know, you can get a probe, check in there, see where you're at, but around 12:31, we're gonna look for around 120 degrees to be on that 120 degree mark. With that being said about time and temperature, 165 is where we want to go for, you know, all the white meat, the breast meat. 170 for the dark meat is ideal. Anything over that, you know, a lot of people cook it a little bit more, a little bit less, but 165 is the bottom. We have to hit that temperature. Let's make sure we hit that temperature, okay? Next, we talked about the sides, things like that. You want to start building into your appetizers around the 12:30, 1 o'clock hour. Make sure you tray up your cold appetizers. Make sure you tray up the hot ones that have to go in the oven, because once this turkey comes out at 2 o'clock, that's really where we're going to fire. The oven's nice and hot, okay? Once it hits that 2 o'clock mark, you're like, hey, 2 o'clock, we're not going to serve for 2 hours, but this turkey's going to hold. We need it to rest at least 45 minutes to an hour. So backup plan that. So 2 o'clock, my turkey's coming out, okay? What's the first thing I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fire the items that hold the most. My casseroles, my sweet potato casserole, my green bean casserole, my potatoes, my mashed potatoes, scallop, anything. That's all gonna go in the oven then, okay? Because we already made them 2 days before. They're gonna take 30 to 45 minutes. So turkey stays tented, put some aluminum foil, put some wrap over it, just to hold, because it's really gonna take another hour for that turkey to kind of come back so all this great juice and all this hard work doesn't run out, okay? Leave that to the side. Casseroles in, appetizers ready. So after that 45 mark, 2:45 or so, we're gonna be taking those casseroles out. Fired our hot hors d'oeuvres, okay? Now we'll hold our casseroles to a keep warm setting. So if you have a warming drawer, activate your warming drawer now and put it in. Or if you have a double oven, throw it on keep warm. It'll hold as well, keep to the right temperature. But we want to take those casseroles out, fire our appetizers or hors d'oeuvres, or if you're doing a soup, 2:30 would be the time to put that soup on and get your soup garnished in bowls and plates and cups, all of that. So 3 o'clock, we're talking turkey right now. So our sides are ready, our apps are ready. We want to carve this turkey down at 3 to 3:15. Average person will take them 15 to 20 minutes to do it. You're really good with a knife, you can wait till 20 after and go through it. But carve your turkey, plate that up, tent it and cover it. It'll still stay nice and hot. 3:45, I always like to give myself, 15-minute window. 3:45, I'm putting that turkey on the table. I'm putting all the sides on the table. My apps are out. My ovens are off. And hopefully I have a drink in my hand, okay? So that's kind of my rough timeline for all. I hope this helps you out. Make your Thanksgiving feast a breeze. Enjoy.